What's good, YouTube? Today we're back with another banger. Today we're going to be watching the new Epstein files that just came out recently, by the way, like maybe 2 or 3 days ago. New files just came out, millions of pages. Today we're just going to be watching or actually seeing the famous names that were involved in this new files. Some names people might know and recognize, and some names we might not know, and obviously one of the names, as we start off in front of us, is Donald J. Trump. Obviously, he's going to be in these files. Let's just start and begin the video.
All right, let's talk about the Epi files, namely the big names that you probably know that are in the documents. Donald Trump, of course, in the documents. William Gates, aka Bill Gates, Elon Musk, Jay-Z, Pusha T. And then we're gonna talk about some dude named Howard that's named in the documents. You probably don't know him, but you will after this. But first, to understand all of this, what you have to know is the Department of Justice under Donald Trump had a problem. You see, United States Congress passed a law saying, y'all gotta release those files. The Department of Justice said, all the files? Congress said, yeah, did I stutter? So after a bunch of stalling, the Department of Justice said, okay, look, here's half the documents, and that's what you got. Those were the files that were recently released. 3 million pages out of 6 million pages. Congress said, didn't we say release all the documents? The Department of Justice excuse was they're trying to protect victims. I'm not even gonna insult you with the Department of Justice reasons for not releasing the other half of the files, but let's just say Congress is apparently trying to get the rest of the files released. But in this half of the files, like we said earlier, you got some big names, starting with Elon. Now remember, Elon Musk said, I ain't never spoke to that dude Epstein. He tried to invite me to the island. I said, no. Donald Trump, though, y'all should check on him. Well, turns out in the files, there is email correspondence between Elon and Jeff Epps. Elon basically saying, yo.
That is crazy, by the way. Elon Musk, I heard about that. But me, honestly, I was surprised. I never expected a billionaire like him would actually make it there. But I don't know, how do these people live? Or actually, I don't know what's going through his head right now. Do people still support him? Do people still buy Teslas? I still don't know this, bro.
Can I fall through to the island? When can I pull up? Elon emailing him year after year. And this is after it came out that Jeff Epps was committing those heinous crimes. And I want you to take special note of that, because here's a side note. Jeff Epps, around 2005, that's when it came out that he was committing heinous acts. That's when you see a bunch of billionaires and politicians come out and say, oh, that's when I stopped talking to him. 2005, 2008, that's when I cut him off. But again, Elon hitting him up like 2012 saying, yo, it's Christmas time. Can I come to, Elon saying this, the wildest parties you got? What's the wildest parties you got? He said, me and my wife, his wife at the time, trying to pull up.
Okay, wait, now that's actually new. Jeffrey Epstein is married? Wait, so how old is his wife? That's actually a good question, but how old is his wife, bro?
And what's kind of embarrassing.
Now wait, pause the video. Actually, I want to search this up, bro. Yeah. So I searched it up. I have to actually go read through all of this, bro. That's his wife? Yeah, she the ugliest shit. I ain't gonna care, man. Age is 64 right now. And how old was Epstein then? How old is Epstein? She's 64. How old is Epstein? Wait. That's not a big difference. Yo. That's actually not bad. I expected his wife to be like 12. I'm gonna lie, bro. Actually, like, they're just 2 years apart. If you just realize that they're 2 years apart. So why did he go for women 12 or 10? That's kind of disgusting.
When Elon last messaged Jeff Epps, Elon was like, yo, man, can't wait. Is the heli coming? Like, Jeff Epps responded to him saying, look, man, I'm not finna be at the island this year. Like, you can't come. I'm gonna be in New York. Boy got rejected by a weirdo. Elon, tripping. Speaking of tripping, let's talk about William. I've been told y'all about William. So according to the files, Jeff Epps is basically like drafting an email to himself, detailing the stuff about William Gates, saying William Gates messes with Russian girls. He's stepping out on his wife with these Russian girls, and with these Russian girls, he got a disease which to give antibiotics to his wife secretly. And he said, whole time Bill Gates over here, tears in his eyes, trying to beg me this and that. Boy, stop it. If you could cry, you can walk. to the bank. Because the only way I
Damn.
ain't telling nobody about this is if you give me a house. Jeff Epps, side note, loved him some blackmail. Now, mind you, Bill Gates denies all this stuff. Elon Musk denies this stuff. But it's kind of tough to deny because these are emails that the FBI acquired. Now, here's why I said that, because here's where things start to get wicked. What I just told you about Bill Gates and Elon Musk is regarding what they found in Jeffrey Epstein's emails. But Donald Trump, Pusha T, and Jay-Z, who we're about to talk about right now,
Jay-Z?
they don't show up in emails. They show up in allegations. Basically, people coming out and saying, yo, I saw Donald Trump, Jay-Z, Pusha T doing this. I saw them when I went to this party and that party. Donald Trump shows up a lot. People detailing in graphic account what they were told to do.
I mean, are we all surprised? Like, the first half that we just saw was mostly about Donald Trump, bro. I'm not even surprised at this point.
With Donald Trump. People detailing the fact that Donald Trump had wild parties of his own. As for Pusha T and Jay-Z, it's a similar situation. But as far as we know, they show up one time in the files with one accuser saying 1994 she saw Jay-Z at a party, Harvey Weinstein was there, and they both. And how they got to these parties in the first place is because of people like Pusha T, who the accuser called a handler. They go on to say Pusha T would give them stuff to make them really sleepy, and then they would wake up at these parties. Now,
crazy.
besides all the big names I mentioned to you, there are plenty of other names in these files. Many people in Donald Trump's inner circle, politicians alike. But there's one politician I want to highlight for you, and that's Howard Lutnick, your Secretary of Commerce. You see, he was Jeff Epps' next door neighbor. So a few years back, I guess he felt like he had to explain himself. So he goes on and does an interview. This is when it was all popping about Jeff Epps. He came out and said, look, all that stuff about Jeff Epps in the news, just because I was his neighbor, let me start by saying I got nothing to do with it. And when I tell you, he was being this boy should be an actor. Boy should get an Oscar, because he was furious that his name was even mentioned in the same sentence. He said, don't mention my name with that man. The interviewer said, you serious? He said, damn straight. He said, let me tell y'all something. I went over to introduce myself to Jeff Epps. Me and my wife was there. We knocked on the door. We said, hello. Boom. Jeff Epps opened the door. We said, hey. We saw a massage table in the middle of the room. That was weird. So we said, Jeff Epps, you like getting massages or something? Jeff Epps leans over and says, I love massages, but he was weird with it. Like, we thought it was weird, me and my wife. And then we said, okay, Jeff, we're gonna leave. We looked at each other and we promised we would never be in the same room with Jeff Epps again. They found him in the files. They found our boy Howard in the
That is crazy. After all of that, you just found in the files like that. But at this point, there's no need to lie, man. Files are all out, bro. Just confess at this point, bro. It's better than like, well, at this point, actually lie, bro. There's nothing, bro. Cops can arrest you. I was about to say it decreases your sentences. I just realized, bro, none of them are getting arrested. I can go steal a pack of chips. I can get arrested for like 2 months of probation for that shit. But over here, whatever the hell they did over here, yeah, now they're free to go, bro. Like, come on, bro. That's unfair, bro. Like,
files emailing Jeff Epps saying, when can I pull up? When can I pull up to the island? Matter of fact, dude's wife was emailing Jeff Epps too. Just in case you didn't get our last message, could we pull up? We finna bring our friends Mary and Matthew. They named them too. They said they trying to bring the whole fam. Could we pull up? I was guffawed when I tell you in his interview how passionate he was. And I said earlier he should win an Oscar, but honestly, maybe he was a little too passionate in the interview. Like he not Denzel, you know what I'm saying? Like you know when somebody puts on a little too much fire? That's what I felt like, my opinion, in the interview Howard was doing. So I wasn't surprised to see his name listed in those emails. So what comes next? Well, the crazy part to me is these were, again, half of the files. So the half that they didn't want to show you, ooh, it must be bad. And what it seems like is the Department of Justice is trying to say, look, we gave you half of the files. They're pretty big, right? So just leave us alone. I'm genuinely curious to know if that would work. It seems like people want it all. So let's just wait and see. Side note, if y'all remember, the FBI under Donald Trump came out earlier and said there ain't no names on the file. Y'all just imagining things. There's no list. Well, we're here now. And it seems that there was a list. So Somebody's lying. And to go further, just remember, files mean nothing if people aren't brought to justice. I'm curious to see what happens next. Like, there's this information, but if nobody is pursuing, no government organization is pursuing this information, then what do? We just look at the files, these people did all this, and then we just move on? Well, I think the American people are past that point, and I think I could speak for everyone when I say we demand justice. Now, this is just the first look over people have had over these documents. Remember, it's millions upon millions of pages. So when more information comes out, then I'll be sure to let you know.
Damn. Yeah, gang, what a video. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. Turn on those post notifications so you don't miss another upload, guys. Please, I'm not asking more. Help me reach 7 to 10 subscribers by the end of the month. And I'm gonna try my best to upgrade the kit a light and get a PC so none of those laggy shit happens again. And thank you guys so much for watching. Peace out and have a nice day. See you on the next upload.